So this is going to be our agenda today. You can have a look once again, and let's start with the agenda right away. So you see, let's see. The waterfall model of software development lifecycle has these 5 phases. In fact, irrespective of the model, any software development project will have phases like analysis, design, development, testing, and implementation. So this model, the traditional model was called as the waterfall model because you see, just as the water, if it moves from a higher elevation to a lower elevation, it cannot come back. Similarly, in this model of software development, the analysis, design, development, etc. were done only once, and once one phase was complete, it was not repeated. And then the whole project will go to the client, and then client will review and give his feedback. So this was the waterfall model of development. Waterfall model has got several problems for the fact that in earlier days there was a long delay between the start of the project and the final release. So in the meanwhile, requirements changed. In the meanwhile, you see clients gave a feedback that this is not what they have asked for. So there was an improvement on this waterfall development, which was called as the iterative model. So in the iterative model, the software was delivered in several releases. And in each of these releases, these 5 phases used to happen. One of the examples of iterative model is agile software development. Agile software development is very popular these days. It has its own set of rules, or what we call as agile philosophy and agile manifesto. So what you see here is basically a Scrum project in which we do sprint planning, product backlog, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective, etc. I won't go into detail on any of these things, but all what you see here is basically an iteration. After an iteration, a release of software is made, and a software with a next or a higher set of functionality is released to the client, which is ready for use for the client. So today, agile software development is much more popular. As far as the business analyst is concerned, irrespective of the methodology of project being utilized, whether agile or waterfall, there are certain activities which a business analyst has to perform on the project. Some of them more prominent, some of them at the core of the business analyst activity, some of them at the periphery. So let's learn what these activities are. The foremost activity of an IT business analyst is requirements engineering, or what we call as requirements engineering and management, or what you can call as the requirements process. So requirements is the core activity and the core work of the business analyst. Yeah, Mr. Korad, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, I think your voice is breaking. That's why.
Voice is breaking. Okay. Let me see if it is better. So I'll speak little slowly. So requirements is the core activity of the business analyst. Requirements process has got steps like formulation and elicitation, requirements analysis, requirements documentation, requirements validation, and requirements management. So this is the key and the core activity. And this happens primarily during the analysis phase. However, during all the phases of SDLC, there is a focus. Business analyst has to keep the requirements in alignment with the objectives of the project and in alignment with the larger objectives of the enterprise. Then, as the project moves towards the testing phase, test management and execution is yet another activity of business analyst. Project implementation, which is basically implementation, is installation of software and making it fit for use. So if there is a small project, or what you can say, if there is a small software, implementation can happen in an hour. So say for example, if you implement Microsoft Windows 10 on your PC. But if the project is of consequence, or if the project is large, then implementation can even go on for months. Say for example, say SAP SuccessFactors implementation for the HR processes at a large corporation. As a business analyst, you see you are a consultant because your focus is on requirements. You have the insight on the requirements of today and also requirements of future. So this is yet another activity of yours as a business analyst. Then process design, you are the ones who is designing new processes. You are the ones who is basically optimizing the existing processes. Sometimes you may even be destroying processes which have lost relevance. Forecasting. Forecasting is an obvious activity for the business analyst because not only you have to forecast requirements of today but requirements of future also. Client account management. As a as a business analyst, you are a client account manager also. Client account manager has to focus on the health of the account, has to focus on the business objectives of the account. So you may be maybe an account manager for, let us say, a $10 million account, which is having several projects and say tens of business analysts working on the project. Technical writing. So when I say technical writing, it is all about requirements documentation and all. Risk management. You see, you need to ensure business processes are available to your client. Business bidding. So you see, business bidding is similar to requirements process. Here, what you are the requirements expert for the start before even the project is awarded. So sometimes there are mega $1 million deals to be awarded. And for these mega $1 million deals, you see, a sales manager cannot win the deal at the outset. So business bidding is done for that. Then there are two other roles, technology choice and vendor selection. Technology choice and vendor selection become prominent and become important when you work as a business analyst on the roles of the client. So then it may be your call on which vendor to select. So whether you would like to, let's say, you are to implement a new business process system. So whether you would opt for, say, Bizagi Business Process Modeler, or whether you would go for Aris Process Modeling tool, or whether this implementation will be given to Cognizant or whether it will be given to Tata Consultancy Services. So all these questions will come to you, and senior management will take your advice, and on your advice they will take the call. So these are the activities of a business analyst. Please remember, dependent on the role, the stage of the project, your role may vary. You have to wear multiple hats. What I have done, I have just paraphrased or organized these activities, deliverables, and objectives of a business analyst across the typical steps of software development life cycle, then in the operations or the support phase, and also in the pre-sales phase. So you can have a look here. So have a look at this slide. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions up to this point of time, so far I have covered the overview of the software development life cycle. I have covered the various activities of a business analyst, and I have mapped activities, deliverables, and objectives of a business analyst as per various software development lifecycle phases. So, if there are questions which you would like to ask up to this point of time, you are welcome to raise your hand. So, friends, let's move on. Let us move on to the next part of the lecture. So now we will learn what is business analysis and what is IT business analysis or information technology business analysis. You see, a business analyst role is a very important role in current times. And why it has gained importance and what it is to be learned now. Analysis. So let's focus on the word analysis. So have a look at this magnifying lens. So what we have done, we have put this magnifying lens on a given process. So what you see beneath the lens here is a, a business process. Analysis is the detailed examination of elements or the structure of of something. So if you were to analyze, let's say, a Boeing aeroplane, so what you will do, you will analyze its components, you will analyze its structure, you will analyze how the machinery works. So you analyze the components. It is also defined as the separation of something into its component parts. So you have to focus on the components. Business. Business is defined as the work to be done or matter to be attended. So business analysis is the analysis of work to be done or matter to be attended. So friends, this is what business analysis is. Analysis and if I go by the definition of legendary authors Cadell and Paul, business analysis is discipline of identifying needs and formulating workable solutions to the business problem. So you see, you analyze work to be done or matter to be attended. What is the work which is to be taken up? Basically, whatever your needs are or whatever your requirements are. And not only you do the analysis of your needs or requirements, you also formulate a workable solution to the business problem. So your focus is on requirements and then your focus is on the solution of the requirement. So identification of requirement is the prime activity of the business analyst. Having said that, identifying the right requirements is easy if you have been trained in those skills and can be very confusing and can be very difficult if you do not have those skills and if you do not have that expertise. When you do business analysis or when you provide a solution to the requirements which you have identified, you have certain objectives in your mind. These objectives are completion of projects on time. So you see, if you are able to meet your objectives on time, mm, that is the primary objective, because sometimes requirements, if you do not deliver it on time, they may lose relevance. Or it may lead to some kind of loss to the organization. Depreciation of waste, development of solutions, improvement of efficiency, documentation of correct requirements. So you see, a business analyst identifies the requirements. He documents it in the form of business requirement document, functional requirement document, software requirement specification document, interview notes, etc. Strategic alignment. So this is a very important word. I put the spotlight here. What does this mean? You see, strategic alignment means you need to identify the requirements of the project. You need to ensure that these requirements of the project are in alignment with the objectives of the project, the objectives which the project will achieve after it has been implemented. And these objectives of the project should be in alignment with the larger objectives of the organization. So this strategic alignment is done by senior level business analysts whom we call as enterprise IT analysts. Allow organizations to improve and develop, communicate and translate ideas. So you see, business analyst is in the business of communication. So communication, translation of collected ideas or collected requirements into right activities is all what you do. And if we talk about IT business analysis, you see today any kind of solution, any kind of improvement in the business process, it happens through IT. So IT and software enable every step. So if you are a business analyst, if you have to, you see, formulate a solution, you need to deploy IT or you need to leverage the power of information technology. So that is the importance of an IT business analyst. So I'll just go back and see if you have. So you see who IT business analysts are. Let's learn about them. So business analysts who work for new software development, software customization, package implementation, new software and vendor selection are called IT business analysts or business systems analysts. So you see, as a business analyst, your focus is project requirements and you are typically involved in an IT project. So that project can be a greenfield development. It can be customization of existing software. It can be, you see, package implementation, etc. So you see, IT business analysts are hired by IT companies, companies like TCS, Cognizant, Wipro, NTT Data, Infosys. IT BAs are hired by these product or platform companies like Facebook, Google, WhatsApp, Sony, Microsoft. IT business analysts are hired by client companies, companies like, you see, pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, telecom companies, construction companies, mega conglomerates. So IT business analysts are required everywhere. Everywhere you need them. And they will be working on the requirements of the project and they will be developing solutions, preparing requirement documents, creating process documents, etc. So today, as an IT business analyst, you are welcome almost everywhere, across domains, across companies with varying nature of business. Let's now learn what are the levels of business analysis. Business analysis is conducted at 4 levels. These are process, project, enterprise, and industry. So just see, a project can have many processes. Within an enterprise, there can be many projects going on simultaneously. And then also, an enterprise is part of a larger industry. So when we do analysis, we can focus at these four levels. So for the process business analysis activity, or when you focus on a process or when you analyze a process, as a business analyst, a single process within the project is studied in detail. So these are just some examples. So say for example, check processing, policy underwriting, cover note issue, online ticket booking. So you will focus on one process at a time. What will you analyze in that process? You see, you will analyze process steps, you will analyze process rules, you will analyze human computer interaction and ease of use, you will analyze interrelationship of this process with other processes, you will analyze process validations, process notifications, process throughput. You can even simulate a process if there is a larger process. So many things can be done. And typical activity which a business analyst performs here is what we call as business process modeling. So what you see here is a process model which is prepared through business process model and notation. So a software like Aris or Bizagi or Microsoft Visio is utilized for this. And you prepare models for your processes, whether you are in airlines industry, whether you are in insurance industry, or whether you are in publishing industry. For your project and for your processes, you can prepare these models. And if you can prepare a process model for one industry, you can do it for other industries as well. So what you need is a standard modeling skills. Then project business analysis. Typically, as a BA, you will be given a project and you have to complete the analysis of this project or requirements of the project within given time. So scope of business analysis is the project in question. For example, business analysis of railway reservation system, business analysis of handheld insurance premium calculation. So say for example, let's say in your company, various insurance agents go to the client and there they have to calculate the premium then and there. So you give them a handheld premium calculator or a handheld iPad on which your, let's say, application resides. So on a given project, you have to understand the scope of the project, who the project stakeholders are. Stakeholders are those individuals who are involved with the success of the project or who are affected by the outcome of the project. What is the project promoter's point of view? So here you see, when you work on requirements, you have to work with your stakeholders. So you have to identify them, you have to classify them, you have to engage with them, you have to align with them, you have to seek their sponsorship and support. So all these, even soft activities, there is a method to it. And this method, if you are able to do, then business analysis activity is easy. So here project functionality, project requirements, functional and non-functional, timelines, all these become important. Here as a business analyst, you need to understand what are the standards, technology standards in your industry. What are the benefits and limitations for technologies which are being deployed? What is the project deployment environment? So say for example, to capture the project deployment environment, you may prepare in unified modeling language what we call as the deployment diagram. So these are formal methods and techniques which you learn during the program. So what is the future scope of project? What is the interrelationship of this project with other projects? So all this is part of project business analysis. And these are some of the outputs which you will be preparing. So say for example, business use case diagram, project charter and scope document. You will be doing a stakeholder analysis. You will be conducting the requirements process. You will be preparing UML and BPM and diagrams. You will be preparing functional requirement document, software requirement specification document. You will align your BRD, FRD, and SRS with the enterprise level objectives. So these are the analysis activities when you focus on the whole project. Then comes enterprise business analysis. You see, your project is part of an enterprise. So here you need to ensure that the projects which you choose are the priority projects for the enterprise. The project's objectives are in alignment with the larger goals of the enterprise. This activity is known as the enterprise IT analysis or enterprise IT business analysis activity. On the top of it, you see, you have to study the vision, mission, key success factors of the enterprise. You have to study the competitive positioning of the enterprise, how the enterprise goes out in the marketplace to achieve its objectives. Here you study and design enterprise IT architecture. So there are techniques and methods to do this. So say for example, TOGAF, the open group architecture framework is one such technique. You arrive at the enterprise-wide IT strategy. So say for example, Indian Railways has got several applications. So how these applications interact with each other, how these applications are sharing resources with each other and things like that. So you have to arrive things at the things at the holistic level. What you see here is a small but a beautiful and elegant example of aligning your enterprise level goals with your project level goals or with the activities which you take up. We are aware of Domino's Pizza. This is the mission of Domino's Pizza, exceptional people on a mission to be the best pizza delivery company in the world. So to achieve this, Domino's Pizza has invested in CRM systems. It has invested in analytics systems. It has invested in best telecalling systems. It has invested in the fleet of people who deliver at the home of the person. So you see, they have corresponding projects. So say for example, you see this order online button. So whichever page on their site you go, you will find this order online button handy. You will have, they possess an analytics application through which they can, you see, predict your order, what your next order can be. They know about your credit history and about if you have, if for anyone, if there is any delinquency, they know that this can be a delinquent customer. So this is how you align your activities with your enterprise level goals, and this is the work of an enterprise IT analyst. Then comes industry business analysis. You see, your projects, your enterprise, your processes are part of an industry. Developments of industry affect the enterprise. When it affects the enterprise, it affects your project and processes. So here, as a business analyst, you may not be working on the industry all the time, focusing on the industry, or may not be preparing industry reports, but you need to understand what are the key trends in your industry, whether there is new legislation, whether there is new demand, whether there are new technologies which are important to your industry are now available. So you have to be aware of all these things. You have to analyze supply and demand conditions. You have to benchmark and observe global best practices of your industry. So as a business analyst, you need to keep aware of all these happenings in your industry, and you need to be aware of the implications of these changings or happenings on your enterprise, on your project, and on your processes. So this is industry business analysis. So friends, so far I have covered 4 levels of business analysis: industry, enterprise, project, and process. We have also learned who IT business analysts are, who business systems analysts are, what is IT business analysis, and what is you see business analysis. We have learned about activities of a business analyst, and we have also mapped these activities across various SDLC phases. I urge you, if you have any question, observation, discussion, or comment, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute you and we can have a discussion on what we have covered so far. So I'm waiting for your questions. So allow me to move forward and let's proceed with the next part of the agenda. So you see, hello. Yeah. So sorry for the disruption in the connection. Yeah. Yeah, Rishikesh, I've unmuted you. What's your question?
Yeah, that's the reason. I
Yeah.
was not able to listen to you. I
Okay.
thought my line was there is a
Okay.
problem.
Okay. Okay. So far, do you have any question on what I have covered?
No, nothing from my
Okay.
side.
Okay. So friends, what you see here, I'll just explain why I have put up this news item. You see, this is news item of 2015, where they have covered that there is going to be a of contactless card, so you do not need swipe cards for the banking transactions. This original presentation of mine was developed somewhere in 2010 or 2011. That was the original presentation of mine. You see, even at that point of time, I used to write that, you see, for banking industry, contactless cards are important. Now in 2015, these contactless cards are being introduced. So for your industry, you know quite early, even 3, 4, 5 years early, what are the next technology trends or what are the next technologies which are going to happen. So as a business analyst, you need to be aware of that. So that is all what industry, that is one of the components of industry business analysis. So let us move further. Then in addition to process, project, enterprise and industry levels, sorry, as a business analyst, you also with time achieve specialization in some of the common processes like online payments, login ID and user authentication, online ticketing, calculators, automated testing systems, content generation systems, security, application processing, analytics, etc. So friends, don't take this specialization to be an easy specialization which you can achieve overnight. All these require specific algorithms. You may need to read certain research papers. You may need to read certain articles. You may need to keep yourself updated on these areas. So, but then you need to achieve specialization in one, two, or three of these common processes. So here comes the list of some of the techniques which you apply at various levels. And this is what differentiates a trained business analyst from untrained ones. So for industry business analysis, you can apply technique like Porter's framework. For enterprise business analysis, you apply Zachman's framework, Poldart's framework, Pestel, McKinsey 7S, TOGAF. So, so say for example, Zachman's framework is enterprise business analysis technique. So it is a simple framework which allows you to analyze IT requirements of your enterprise across several defined dimensions. For project business analysis, we have techniques like MOSCO. So MOSCO is the requirements prioritization technique, which is the acronym for must have, should have, could have, won't have for the requirements. So what requirements will go in a particular sprint or a particular release is covered here. Most Toyota A3 report, Pastel, Unified Modeling Language or UML, these are all project level business analysis techniques. In fact, UML is a very detailed framework and you learn about it in good amount of detail during the program. For process business analysis, we have 5Y, we have a Spark system framework, we have 6N, we have BPMN or business process model and notation, and UML. UML is Unified Modeling Language and BPMN is business process model and notation. So these are the techniques which you apply at these levels, and with these techniques you come up with your outputs. Then here in this slide, I have mapped activities of a business analyst vis-a-vis various softwares which you use. You see, today every profession needs specialist knowledge and you deploy specialist softwares to achieve your objectives. So for business process mapping, modeling and visualization, we have softwares like Magic Draw, Microsoft Visio, Argo UML, Bizagi Business Process Modeler, etc. For requirements database management, for requirements cataloging, we have softwares like Serena RTM, Influx, Visior, GatherSpace.com, Rational Suite. For prototyping, human-computer interaction, user interface, display, storyboarding, we have softwares like Axior and Microsoft PowerPoint. For analytics, which is the quantitative part, we have softwares like Excel, SAS, SPSS, R, SAP Lumida, etc. So we learn about Microsoft Visio in great detail in the program. And if you are a proficient user of Visio, you will be welcome everywhere as a business analyst. Now it is time to learn about the three business analyst skills, and these are technical skills, business skills, and soft skills. Let's learn about them. Technical skills. Technical skills, as I have told you, requirements is the key work of the business analyst. Everything revolves around the requirements and their solutions. So requirements engineering and management is the key technical skill. Here we learn requirements engineering and management in detail in the program. We learn how to prepare business requirement documents. We learn how to prepare a functional requirement document, etc. Modeling and visualization skills. So you have seen a business process model. so which you will be preparing in Visio. SQL and RDBMS concepts. So SQL is a structured query language, which is basically ANSI standard for retrieving, storing, updating database information. Appreciation of technology and technical environment. Systems thinking. So how do you visualize business processes into software processes? Software project knowledge, knowledge of software development life cycle, implementation methodologies. Then for business skills, you need to have industry knowledge. You need to have domain knowledge. You need to be aware about the domain vocabulary, critical processes of your domain, and rules of your domain. Then third area, which is soft skills, which is sometimes difficult to define, but very important. So these are what I call as communication, project, and leadership skills. So communication, project, and leadership skills include interviewing, meeting management, verbal and written communication, patience, negotiation skills, business analyst vocabulary, relationship building, leadership, attention to detail. So you see, patience is a virtue for a business analyst. Relationship building is also very important. And of course, you can't gather requirements if you do not interview and or if you are not able to interview. So these are three set of skills. What are the challenges which you face as a business analyst on the job? And friends, let me tell you upfront, all of these challenges, if you see through in a clear manner, it has to do with the requirements part of the project. So lack of clarity in the scope of business functions, business requirements not well defined. So you see, you have to be able to understand the business requirements. Conflict between business groups. So different stakeholders can have different priorities. Project changes are poorly managed. Poor project management skills. Project not linked to organizational goals. Project does not meet all these stakeholder needs. Test strategy not well defined. Lack of resources. You see, friends, you will learn in the requirements engineering and management lecture that approximately 15 to 20% resources of the project should be allocated to the analysis phase. If you do not do that, you will not be able to complete your analysis activity in a proper manner. And if you see, again, I'll repeat that all these things have some linkage to the word requirement. These are the salaries which a business analyst receives in India. So an associate business analyst of 0 to 2 years of experience earns rupees 7 lakh per annum. A business analyst with 2 to 4 years of experience earns rupees 10 lakhs per annum. A senior business analyst with 4 to 6 years of experience earns rupees 12 lakhs per annum. An enterprise analyst with 7 plus years of experience earns something between 15 to 26 lakhs rupees per annum. Then from enterprise business analyst, you become a project director. So here you can be a client account director, or you can be a, you see, domain competency level person in the number 2 or number 3 in the domain. Then you become the practice director, and then from practice director you can basically get to the C-suite of becoming a vice president or president after 15 plus years. So this is the typical salary and the typical career path of a business analyst. Now it's time to meet some real business analysts who have basically seen things through from our institute. Let's meet them. These are all real people. Sorry. So these are two ladies who have completed their program from our institute, and I was just overhearing their conversation once they have visited my office. So let's have a quick look at their conversation. So this is the real conversation with what I heard from them, overheard rather. You can see here. So I've taken their LinkedIn profiles. Some more business analysts. So he's my student. He works for a product company, and when he joined the institute, he was working for RedGain, and immediately after completing the program, he joined as a senior business analyst at Amadeus Software Labs. Immediate benefit for both of them. So this friend of mine, who's also my student, he was working with TCS. TCS was not appreciating his skills and appreciating his presence. So by the time he finished this course, he joined Fidelity, and now he is with Bravura Solutions, and his salary has shot almost 300 times in last 3 years. Some of some of very inspiring stories. So let's now summarize this session, and after the summary, I'll open the session for discussion, comments, observations, feedback, questions. A business analyst may have to take up variety of tasks including requirements engineering and management, software testing, implementation, consultancy, documentation, etc. Business analysis is a challenging, high profile, and a global role. Requirements engineering and management is the key business analysis activity. Business analysts are leaders who work under the glare. So you see, you are the one who will be responsible for the success of the project. You are the one who will provide the direction to the project. And you are the one who will lead the project to success. So all eyes will be on you, a spotlight will be on you, the client will look up to you, your own team will look up to you for right identification of requirements and for solutions. So this is all what I wanted to cover today for this session, and this is the overview session. Whatever we have covered in the coming sessions, we get into detail on, say, for example, what is unified modeling language, various diagrams in UML, various structure diagram, behavior diagrams, what is BPMN. So all these things we cover it in detail through case studies, through examples, and we utilize softwares like Visio to come up with outputs which are professional and which stand out. So friends, here I stop the session and I open the session for any kind of feedback, question, discussion, experience sharing, etc. Yeah, Rishikesh, I have unmuted you.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, as we have spoken in the session, that business analyst should know the domain knowledge as well as he will be completing the project. He will be also assigning the project plan. He should have the knowledge of the test plan. So, how much technical knowledge should be a high level technical knowledge or a deep level technical knowledge about the test plan or a project plan to be prepared? How much knowledge is essential? It should be on high level or a deep dive session should be happening on this.
You see, your primary focus is on requirements. So you should have a very in-depth knowledge of the requirements process, and you should have a in-depth understanding of the outputs which you need to prepare. Say, for example, requirement models, requirement documents, and all. Having said that, for
Okay.
test management and execution, you may not be preparing the test plan or you may not be preparing the test cases. That is the responsibility of testing team. However, on small projects, sometimes a business analyst is given this additional role. So you should be aware of, say, for example, what black box testing is. Number one, you should you are the one who understand the core requirements from the client. You are the one who face the client. So many a times when the release will happen, it will go through you. So you will do some quick testing so that you ensure and you satisfy yourself that the release is well and fine and now I can expose it to the client.
Okay.
So whatever your role
Okay.
is, for your role you need to be a specialist and you should have in-depth knowledge. For
Okay.
yeah,
Just might be some stupid question, but for all this there will be a separate BA, I believe. One BA doesn't do all these activities. That's what I came across working with the industry, right? Or
no,
there will be one
I will
sole BA will be doing all these
I will
things in a
I
cycle.
will tell you. Normally, enterprise IT analysts are senior level people. So if you are an
Yeah,
enterprise IT analyst, so then you may not be preparing, say, for example, process models and all. But an
yeah.
enterprise IT analyst will know how to prepare a process model because he would have done
That in
completed
the
several
previous
projects
organization.
earlier. Yeah, previous organizations or earlier when he would have started out as a business analyst. So as far as the skills are
Okay.
concerned, you need to have skills on all these areas. On a large project, you may have more than one BA. On a small project,
Yeah.
one BA will do all.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Shadrach. I have unmuted you.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the presentation. It's
Thank
quite
you.
informative. What I really want to find out, I think is very important to me, is how if you have hands-on, like as we go through the processes of the hands-on projects, so that you get your hands-on real-life experiences. So
Yes.
that's what I find important, really.
You see,
Like in,
you want to, your question is how to basically acquire hands-on first-hand project experience. That's what
yeah,
you wanted to ask?
yes,
So you
yes,
see, first and foremost, an analyst is someone, I'll just go to the core of the analysis thing. Analyst is someone who is able to identify the requirements and come up with solutions. So
yeah,
if we go by that definition, almost everyone is an analyst because everyone is having some past experience, working experience, business experience. So wherever you are, whatever project you are into, you can do identify some requirements and come up with solutions. But when you say hands-on experience or hands-on project experience, for a business analyst, it is not like doing programming activity. For a business analyst, a hands-on experience is preparing a process model or preparing a business requirement document, or let us say preparing a UML model for a use case diagram and for a activity diagram or for a deployment diagram. This is your hands-on activity. So this hands-on activity is also done on paper and on computer. Uh,
Yes.
so all these activities you learn through case studies during the program. So
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
you will be learning them. So first you need to be thorough in the technique. You need to be thorough in the core of the technique, thorough in the software, and then you apply it in a real life or a hands-on scenario.
Okay. Got it.
Your question is very, very important because you see, at the end of the day, you have to go and act on the job.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else which you would like to ask?
No, I'm good for now.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Amit. I have unmuted you. Would like your feedback.
Hi there. Yeah, it was a good session. Just a small question.
Yeah.
So mostly these days the requirements they are people who are there, they are mostly overseas,
Yes.
so and spread across the globe.
Yes.
So how do you suggest what methodology we should follow to gather the requirements, elicit the requirements from them? Because there's a time gap and of course time constraint also.
Yeah. So you see, today the availability of communication methods and availability of communication technologies are such that you can elicit good amount of requirements from your stakeholders even at a distance. So that is a fact. When I started way back in 1998, you see, almost invariably first thing which a business analyst has to do was to visit on site. So there are two three things. First thing is, even if you are located from a distance with the client, you need to identify someone who is a project champion or someone who can basically be active on your behalf at the client side. So he's the guy, many a times he will help you in coming up with, you see, quick interviews with the important stakeholders or maybe doing follow up with the important stakeholders. So if you can identify some project champion out there, this is one thing which will help. Second thing is, when the stakeholders are located at a distance, there is a scope for misinterpretation or scope for miscommunication. So that scope of ambiguity is removed if you are, number one, very particular in your communication. That is, you do not delay the minutes of meetings, your requirement artifacts after your requirement session, and you follow absolutely standard methodologies. So when I say standard methodologies, these are methodologies like UML, BPMN and all. So find a project champion, be prompt in your communication, and follow standard notation, standard methodologies, so that there is little scope for misinterpretation. These are two things which I will say come to my mind immediately. And of course, there are challenges when stakeholders are spread across geographies and there are multiple time zones. It's sometimes it is really difficult. More so when, let's say, if your stakeholders are in United States compared to say countries like Australia or Singapore.
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you have anything supplementary to ask or add upon this?
Just a small thing, like you spoke about solutioning the whole problem. So let's say I'm coming from a CRM background and put into an insurance kind of project. So
Yes.
how do I solution the project? I mean, the problem.
You see, there is a slight difference between a domain expert and a business analyst. So here, your client is going to be your domain expert. So you need to be working actively with him on steps of the process. So he may be telling you the process in a verbal manner. However, you are the modeling expert. You are the one who's basically equipped with the business analysis toolkit or business analysis tools and techniques. So, though you will be gaining knowledge from your stakeholder or from your subject matter expert, you will be very quick in converting that into outputs. You have to be quick in basically uncovering if there are any process inefficiencies, even if you are not an expert, let's say in insurance process or insurance domain. And to say that you are not an expert, it is only a matter of first 2 3 weeks. After 3 4 weeks on the project, you also gain insight because you have been trained in a certain method, and that method allows you to learn even about the domain very quickly in a certain manner. Yeah,
Okay.
I've
Thank you so
completed.
much.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's all from my side. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Shadrach, I have unmuted you.
Yeah,
Would you like to speak?
I don't know.
You have raised your hand.
Pardon?
Yeah, would you like to speak? You have raised your hand.
I'm not sure. I think I left it on. I was just listening.
Okay, okay,
I'll remove. Yeah.
okay. I'm not aware of your background. What's your background like?
Well, my background is varied. I did first my 93. I did accounting and information systems in California,
Yeah.
and then did a master's in internet and database systems. But then I got out of the field and I've been teaching mostly, but now I want to get into business analysis.
Yeah. And you are located in London.
Yeah, I'm in London. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, UK is a very good market for IT business analysts these days. Whether you join the government on a permanent role or mm, or whether you join as a contractor, both both the ways opportunities are many. And I'm so glad to hear that you have got good distinguished academic background. Moment you are equipped with these business analysis skills, you will
Yeah.
start getting the interview offers, and you will get the placement immediately.
That's what I need right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm. Follow up. I think I'll call you or I'll go ahead with the emails
yeah,
and take it on from there because I'd already set up a payment plan anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
do that.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
So friends, I am now on the verge of closing this session. If you have any questions, you can ask these questions. I will share the link of this presentation with you. You can download this presentation from the above link so that this presentation is available to you. Just give me a second and I will also share some visuals with you which you may find interesting. So give me a minute so that I share the link with you. So you can download this presentation from here. This is the link. Once you will run the presentation, you will be able to, it will ask for a machine key. You have to share that machine key with me, and then I will send you the password for this presentation. And this presentation will run only on your machine. And let me see if I can find out few visuals for you as well, which will be of use to you. So some of the visuals I'll share with you, which you can download. So these visuals will be available in the handouts area of the lecture. So you can see I have uploaded one visual, 9 softwares of the IT Business Analyst. Then activities of a business analyst. This is yet another visual. I will share one. So you can download the visuals from the handout area. So friends, that's it for now. Thank you for attending this session, and have a great day. Enjoy your day and enjoy your work. So thank you very much. So I believe each of you has downloaded the visuals which I have uploaded and also copied the link for the presentation. Thank you. Bye bye and have a great day.